As I make this video, we're about a month away from Apple releasing macOS Sequoia with all of the new features and functionality that will bring with it. But even so, I reckon there's a lot of Mac functions that most Mac owners don't know about. So in this video, I'm going to share 10 tips with you that I think most Mac owners don't know. Okay, let's get into it. I'm sure you already know that if you press the back button in Safari, it will take you back a page. But if you'd like to go back more than one page, simply tap and hold the back button for just a second to get a list of your most recently visited pages. You would then simply choose the one that you want. Also, if you press and hold on the plus button in the upper right corner, which would normally create a new tab for you, you'll be given the option of all of your most recently closed Safari tabs. You can then click on the one that you want to open. This is great if you know that you recently closed a tab while you were working and suddenly realize that you'd like to get back to it. A minor tip, but one that I find Mac owners are frequently unaware of, is that there is a keyboard shortcut that is almost universally accepted as the way to access the settings menu in pretty much any app. The keyboard shortcut is Command and the comma key, and if you don't believe me, go and open an app on your Mac and give it a try. Also, if you want to quickly access the sound settings on your Mac, press and hold the Option key and tap on any of the volume keys, including the mute button. If you want to quickly access the display settings, press and hold the Option key and tap on either the brightness up or brightness down key. If you go to System Settings, then choose Control Center on the left and scroll down to the Music Recognition section, you can enable a tool called Shazam. This has been available on the iPhone for a long time, but you might not realize it's also available on your Mac. You can choose to enable it in either the menu bar or the Control Center. Once you've done this, the next time that music is playing on your Mac and you want to identify it, simply access Shazam via the menu bar or Control Center and choose Start Listening, and your Mac will identify the music for you. You can also see your history here, and this syncs with Shazam on your iPhone as well. You can run a speed test on your Mac to find out how quick your internet is without having to visit a website or download third-party software. All you need to do is press Command and Spacebar on your keyboard to access Spotlight Search and type in Terminal. Press Enter to open the Terminal app. Then in the Terminal window, type Network Quality. Press Enter and your Mac will run a speed test of the upload and download speed of the internet you're currently connected to. A tip that I've shown off on my iPhone videos is the ability to input calendar entries using natural language. But the great thing is this also works here on the Mac, and there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can open the Calendar app, tap the plus button in the top left-hand corner, and then type your event into the calendar using natural language. For example, you could say doctors tomorrow 3 p.m. and your calendar will begin the process of creating an event for you. This also works in Spotlight Search. If you press Command and the spacebar on your keyboard to open Spotlight Search, you could then type something like dentist next Wednesday 4 p.m. and your Mac will identify exactly what it is that you're trying to create. You would simply tap the Add button to begin creating your event. It won't surprise you to know that I'm passionate about learning more about my Mac, which is why the latest tool from Clean My Mac, the Menu app, is so interesting to me. It tells me everything that I could ever want to know about my Mac to make sure that it's running at its absolute best. It lives up at the top of my screen, so it's always easily accessible. One click and I get a wealth of glanceable information about what's going on with my Mac, and I can tap into any of these modules to learn more. So I typically start up at the top with the recommendations. I can run a deep scan of my Mac. I can free up purgeable space on my hard drive at the push of a button. I can uninstall apps or have a quick security review of how much data I'm sharing, or even boost my system performance with one click. Beneath that is where it really starts to get interesting. I can monitor my Mac's memory usage in real time and potentially free up space, as well as finding out which apps might be memory hogs. I can check my battery's health, including detailed info on charge cycles and temperature, ensuring it's in top shape. I can even assess the load on my Mac's CPU, which is great if you find that your Mac is overheating or slowing down often. Clean My Mac X's Menu app constantly monitors my Mac, even when I'm taking it easy. If this sounds good to you, use my link in the description of this video for a 7-day free trial and get 20% off with promo code PROPERTECH. Your Mac has a feature called Hot Corners. This is where you can assign a function to each corner of your desktop, and all you have to do is move your cursor to that particular corner of the screen for that particular action to happen. You would access this by opening System Settings, then choosing Desktop and Dock, and scrolling all the way to the bottom of this screen and choosing Hot Corners. You can see that for each of the four corners of the screen, you can do things like access mission control, bounce to your desktop, or begin a quick note. Some of these can be quite useful, but it can also be really frustrating to accidentally push your cursor into one of the corners, only to have that action run. If this is a problem for you, add a modifier key to the hot corner. Click into the corner that you'd like to apply the hot corner to, and hold down the modifier key or keys that you would also like to have pressed when you try to run this particular hot corner shortcut. So for example, you might decide that you only want this to happen when your cursor goes into one of those four corners and you're also pressing the Command and Shift key on your keyboard. If that was the case, hold those two keys down and select the function that you would like for any particular corner. You'll see that the hot corner function will be created along with the modifier keys, making it much less likely that you're going to access this by accident. In Safari, let's say that you've gone to Google and searched for something and clicked on a link to do some research. Then let's say that on the website you follow another link, and then from that link you follow another link. Before you know it, you can be several pages in and quite a long way back from your search results. If you want to get back to the search results at any time, click on History at the top of the screen and choose Return to Search Results. Your Safari window will immediately snap you back to the Google search results. Also, just to point out, if you're a fan of keyboard shortcuts, you would choose Command, Option, and the S key, and that's your keyboard shortcut here. Now, in order for this to work, you do have to be clicking links in the same tab every time. If you're doing things across multiple tabs, this won't work. But if you've gotten lost while doing some research, this is a really good trick to help you get back. By the way, if you prefer to have content like this in a written format, there's a PDF version of this video complete with screenshots, and you can access it along with all other PDFs I've created, plus future ones, for just $5 a month or by itself as a one-time payment. You can either scan the QR code that you can see on screen or follow the link in the description of this video to learn more. Did you know that each time you increase or decrease the brightness or volume on your Mac, you're doing so by 1/16? This might be enough control for you, but if you prefer to have a little more control, hold the Option and Shift keys on your keyboard while pressing the up and down buttons on either the volume or the brightness. Each of those 16 levels will now have 4 additional levels inside them, giving you a much greater degree of precision and control when changing the brightness of your display or the volume of your Mac. If you're hard of hearing, there is a tool called Live Captions that you can enable on your Mac to provide accurate real-time captions for anything that you're viewing on the Mac, but also for anything heard by the microphone. There's a few requirements that need to be met in order for this to work. You need to have a Mac running Apple Silicon, so that would be an M1, M2, M3 or newer Mac computer. You also need to have your device language set to US English, because at present, this is only running in beta and it is only available in US English. If you go to System Settings, then choose General from the options on the left, then choose Language and Regions, you'll see there is a region option. Click into this and ensure that this is set to United States. If it's not already set to this, your computer will prompt you to change the language to US English, and this will require a restart of your machine. But once you've done that, you can go to System Settings and choose Accessibility from the options on the left. In the hearing section, you'll notice there's a new option called Live Captions. Tap into this and toggle the feature on. You'll then notice a bar appear at the bottom of your Mac screen, and anything that you play on your Mac, whether it's a YouTube video, a downloaded video, or some audio embedded into a website, and your Mac will attempt to create accurate captions on screen. If we jump back into the Live Captions page of System Settings for a moment, it is also worth pointing out that you can enable live captions in FaceTime, which is exactly what it sounds like. Enabling this will mean that next time you have a FaceTime call on your Mac, live captions will be working there as well. You can also use this page to change things like the font and background color of the captions box. Finally, on the captions box itself, you can toggle the microphone on or off. With this toggled on, your microphone will listen for speech and create a live caption of it. So if you're hard of hearing and have someone sitting next to you at your computer to have a conversation, this could be a really useful tool. Let's say that you're writing an email, and partway through writing the email, you realize that you want to share a link to an article with the person you're sending the email to. You've already got the article open in a Safari window, so rather than copying and then pasting the URL from the address bar, you can just drag the URL directly from the address bar into your email. This also works with links elsewhere in the article. You don't have to click on a link first, you can just drag and drop like we just did, and this works whether you're dropping the link into Mail messages, reminders, whatever it is that you're working on. Oh, and the same concept applies if you're working in a document, maybe something in Pages, for example, and you want to send a copy of what you're working on. Just drag and drop from the app icon at the top of the screen, and you can drop an up-to-date version of your document right into your email. So there you go, 10 tips that I reckon most Mac owners don't know about. What about you? Anything in here that you didn't know? Or anything that you think I should have included? Drop me a comment and let me know. And as ever, if you found this video useful, do please consider leaving me a like and subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. See you on the next video.